Hey everybody, welcome to this video. Before I talk about James Hetfield's speech and my thoughts on it all, if you're brand new to my channel, be sure to subscribe. I'd really appreciate it. With that being said, let's talk about the man himself, James Hetfield. So what is going on, everybody? Thank you so much for joining me for today's video. My name's Ray. I'm a guitar player here on YouTube, and I want to make this video and talk about a speech that James Hetfield gave about his mental health about a week ago at the time of this filming. And the main reason why I want to make this video is to give some commentary and give some light and insight on mental health and how even the most successful musicians around the world can still struggle with it and still have their own inner, quarrels inside their own brain. It seems like in the arts, we'll say, just in general, mental health or lack thereof, or just, mental health problems really seem to be prevalent and just kind of a common theme across creative people. And now more specifically in the rock and or metal side of things, I mean, some of the people that I look up to and some of the people that I work in the industry have suffered from it and or have expressed their their problems with their mental health. My favorite guitar player of all time, Eddie Van Halen, had his mental health decline publicly documented through a number of sources, but around the 04 reunion tour especially, that was really a rough patch for Eddie Van Halen. So even he himself was struggling with it. Another one of my favorite guitar players, John Frusciante from the Red Hot Chili Peppers. Throughout his whole career, he struggled with addiction as well as mental health. And up until very recently, he's now just rejoined the band. But even still, somebody, again, just as successful as an Eddie Van Halen, for example. John Frusciante, another example. And now, even arguably the most important and most influential metal guitar player of all time, James Hetfield, is now coming out again talking about his mental health while on stage and is still dealing with it even now 40 years into his career. So if you guys haven't seen the speech, I'll give a quick synopsis just real quick. Long story short, James Hetfield admitted and confessed to a live audience that backstage prior to the show that he gave the speech at, he was feeling down in the dumps about his playing, about his age, and basically, for lack of a better word, just sounds like he was feeling washed up, we'll say. And there seemed to be a lot of self-doubt and self-destructive thoughts going on in his head backstage. He expressed all this to his bandmates backstage prior to the show, and his bandmates said, "Hey, we got you." The rest of Metallica said, "Don't worry about it. We got your back. If you're struggling, we're here to help." And the speech kind of concluded with a nice warm embrace and hug from the rest of the bandmates. Really cool moment to see. And this is kind of refreshing to see from James Hetfield especially, because James Hetfield is kind of known for being the tough guy and known for not smiling, all the above, right? And really just kind of fits the mold of what metal heads view themselves as. It's people that are tough, hard-nosed, don't smile, don't talk about their feelings and emotions, just all about metal and that's it, right? So this moment is a really nice character arc, we'll say, of James Hetfield, admitting that he's got problems, admitting that he, even to this day, still has self-doubt and just is really kind of critical of his playing, all the above. So even somebody as established and as well-respected and as famous and wealthy as James Hetfield is expressing that, hey, I've got mental health problems and, I struggle along with everybody else. And ladies and gentlemen, I find this incredibly refreshing and I welcome this wholeheartedly. What I don't welcome is anybody to have mental health problems, but I'm not welcoming James Hetfield's struggle. Let's not get it twisted. What I'm saying is this: I'm welcoming this because I admire James Hetfield's willingness to put himself out there, to be open, to not be afraid to talk about the things that are rather taboo, again, especially in the metal genre. And where I come from, the culture that I grew up in, guys don't talk about their feelings or their problems. You kind of just suppress it all and just kind of don't deal with it publicly. Just deal with it on your own. Don't go see help. Don't seek help. Don't talk to your friends about it. Just keep it all in and pretend like everything's cool, especially on the exterior. And I hope this James Hetfield speech kind of sets the bar with the culture of metal guitar and just metal in general. I mean, I personally get a ton of heat every single day because I smile when I play guitar and I play in drop F. Somehow, a lot of people get rubbed the wrong way because that's not cool because I'm expressing how happy I am. And similar to smiling, talking about your mental health and talking about your struggles is not a part of the metal culture. It's not cool to talk about it. So it's kind of cool to see James Hetfield break away from the molds that, honestly, he kind of, in a way, kind of created. To where, like I said, it's kind of a character arc where now talking about mental health and talking about addiction and struggles, all the above, isn't perceived to be a bad thing. And I feel like this whole speech is something that everybody could relate to. James Hetfield just put himself out there and kind of just connected with a lot of people, in my opinion. I think we all have pains, we all have struggles, we all have things that we go through, and we can kind of relate to this a little bit. And honestly, everybody, that's why I named my album Chronic Pain, because yes, I physically have chronic pain, but a lot of pain that we all have is up top too. You know what I mean? Especially as of late in the last two and a half years, man. We've all had a pretty rough go, to put it lightly. And we've all dealt with pain physically, mentally, spiritually, completely. So this James Hetfield speech is something that I really, really welcome and I love, because it just was able to touch on a subject that is rather taboo, or has been rather taboo. But James Hetfield, arguably the most influential metal figure of all time, is talking about it. And I think that's something that is kind of cool to break the mold of what metal should be, or is, or was up until very recently, i.e. this speech. So everybody, those are my thoughts on it. I just kind of want to make this video and just kind of give a nice little reflection piece in a video format and talk with you all. I think mental health, you know, we all have some sort of mental health problems, I believe, and that's okay. And if you don't, that's cool too. But I just think a lot more people have mental health problems than they would like to admit or don't talk about. Like I said, it's kind of taboo. But again, James Hetfield, the guy of metal guitar, is talking about it, and even he feels insecure about his playing. Best right hand of all time, probably, or, you know, rhythm picking hand, we'll say. You know, he's the master at that genre and that niche, and even he feels insecure about his playing. So I think that's really admirable to admit that, especially in front of a live packed audience. But also too, the bigger, deeper meaning is we can all kind of relate to that in some degree, and kind of understand that, hey, it's okay to feel some certain type of way about yourself, and we're all kind of going through it together, and it's okay, and you're not alone. Those are the last things he said. I'm not alone, and that resonated with me. All right, everybody, so that's going to do it for this video. What are your guys' thoughts on what I have to say? What are your thoughts on what James Hetfield had to say? Leave all your thoughts down below. I'll meet you down below in the comments, okay? All right, everybody, with that being said, be sure to subscribe. I'm out of here. Stay safe, stay healthy, and stay metal. I'll see you guys next time. Later.